Hey coin collectors, it's DC on the Big D, and it's the 1968 United States quarter dollar coin. Philadelphia on the left here with no mint mark, Denver on the right with a mint mark. At the Philadelphia Mint in 1968, they made $220.7 million. At the Denver Mint, they made $101.5 million, the lowest mintage ever for a modern United States quarter by a long shot. Now, they only had to make that about 300 million of these because in the 3 years prior to that, 65, 66, and 67, they made about 4 billion of these. They took the mint marks off them in 1965. They made 4 billion in the next 3 years, and that seemed to slow the hoarding of U.S. coins down and kind of got the U.S. coinage market back on track. They did another thing to slow that down, of course, and most of you know that, and that is they went from a 90% silver to a copper nickel clad copper coin. So this is 75% copper, 25% nickel, and the nickel is all mixed in a blend over the top of a copper core on each side. If we tip it over to the back, we see that it has an eagle on the back, United States of America at the top, E pluribus unum above the eagle's head. The eagle's holding some arrows, and right there we have, you can get this, a olive wreath there, in olive, of course, the sign of peace. Quarter dollar here, it says at the bottom. If you look at these just right, and squint your eyes just a little bit, you can see the mint engraver's name. And there's a J and an F right down there, right above to the right of the 1968. Let's see if we can see it any better on any of these other ones. Yeah, you can definitely see it on that one. See the J and an F right there? That's for John Flanagan, who first designed these coins in the 1930s. And he did, just a wonderful job on them. 1932, the first ones came out. In fact, here's the weird part about the 1968D. In 1932, when they first came out with these, they made 5.4 million of these. And of the D's, they made 436,000, but they made, just a huge amount back in the 30s, and that was in the middle of the Depression. And then we get to the 1960s, and they're starting to make less, but that was only for a year or two while they caught up with the overproduction that occurred in 1965, 1966, in 1967. Many of you know that the Euro countries have gone to cent coins also. So I wanted to show you, this is the rough equivalent of a 25-cent United States coin, and that is a 20 euro cent coin. And you can see this has a Spanish flower design on the edge. See how these, and the good thing about these is if they're in your pocket, you can feel the difference. And so this little one, it's a 20-cent one because it has a different feel around the edges. You can see the LL here, and that's for the engraver of this coin, Luke Leutsch, who won the competition to engrave the euro cents. And what he did for his design was this design over here with the 12 stars and the 12 original euro countries here. And then on the back, each country would have its own back. Well, actually, this is the front. I'm sorry. This is the back. Each country would have its own front. And this, of course, is the German one. That's a Brandenburg Gate. I don't know if you recognize it. And it's got, the 12 stars around here. This is the date here, 2002. And I don't know if you know this part, but Germany has about 6 mint marks. So they have the A for Munich, and they have the D and the G and the F and the whatever. And so for each one of their mints, they have a different mint mark. And so if you collect the euro coins, what you want to do for Germany is get as many of the mint marks as you can. Try to get them all for 1 year. So why is this worth about the same? Because the euro dollar is worth more than the United States dollar. If you divide it by 4, you get somewhere around 20 euro cents, or a quarter of a European euro, EURO dollar. All right, so how many of these are in US dollar? Well, of course, there's 4. How much are they worth today? They're worth about a quarter. These are worth 25 cents now because they just aren't in great shape. what kind of shape do you need to get them in to make them worth more? Well, if you get up to MS63, which is not a great collector grade, has maybe a few scratches and dings on it, but it hasn't been used. An MS63 only gets you up to $2 to $3 on these. An MS65 gets you up to $6 to $8. And if you can get the San Francisco Mint one, which would have an S over here, that one you can get about $5 in a proof 65. So, and they made 3 million of the ones with the S on them. You won't find them in general circulation just because they came in a special mint set. It wasn't an SMS mint set. I don't mean to say that. What I mean is that they were minted specially with a San Francisco Mint mark on them, and thus they have a different, it looks like a different finish, and you won't find them normally in general circulation. Now, some of you know that sometimes you'll find an S on a penny. That's because the San Francisco Mint made general circulation pennies, but they didn't do that for these quarters. All right, so what would you need to do to get a really valuable one? It would have to be MS67 or MS68. You'd be talking about somewhere between $200 and $1,000 if you can get this in a version that looks like it's never been touched, never been dinged, may have a few very, very slight scratches on it. You can get up into the hundreds, but in general, the 1968 coins, even though we're talking about over 50 years old at this point, still only worth a quarter. Have a great day from Big D Coins. This is DC saying over and out. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channels and leave any comments you might have in the comments section.